All right, how's it going, everybody? If you don't know me, my name is Kramer. I know my hair looks insane right now, but I'm tired of having it laid down, and I just decided to make this video kind of on the fly. So, I don't know, maybe it'll make people click and learn more about CFS. So maybe it'll be a positive thing. Who knows? I hope that's not. Okay, a little embarrassing. I've got some jelly on my face. Um, my apologies. All right. Again, my apologies. Okay. So I'm just going to be talking about 5 quick points about CFS. Why am I doing this? Well, I've got an hour to kill before bed, and I want to try to help people with CFS. And yeah, I don't want to ramble too much, so let's get into it. Number one, chapter one, whatever. My experience with CFS. I've had it for about 10 years. I am 32 years old. I have to, just off the top of my head, I could think about it harder, but I've had it for about 10 years. Somewhere in my 20s, I believe I had it. It's possible I've had it longer than that, but I only started getting serious crashes where I would be out for months at a time in my 20s. I learned about it about 2 years ago, and since learning about it and fully understanding that I did have it, I've had varying success. I've had one very good, I'll call it a run, where I did everything right for a few months and I almost got out of it, but I ended up moving, fell out of my routine. No, well, that's not completely true. Um, I I did a few things wrong and fell out of it. I can talk more about that in another video, but basically, I'll say if you have a routine that's working, you should stick to it. I've had a few crashes, but I've learned a lot along the way, and yeah, I'm gonna try to help people. Question two. These are just randomly, frequently asked questions I came up with. Was I diagnosed by a doctor? I was not. And based on what I've seen online, a lot of doctors don't even acknowledge the disease or the condition, whatever you want to call it. And furthermore, people also get bad recommendations on how to treat it. It's very common. I know in the UK it was common for people to be recommended to have graded exercise routines, which is just about the worst thing you could actually possibly do. And then CBT, which is just kind of demeaning, but ultimately probably neutral. Maybe negative because it is demeaning, but yeah. So I was not diagnosed by a doctor, but I'm very confident that I have it. What helps with my CFS? Basically, I've developed a few rules. If you have to take home, one thing from this video, I would say don't force. I'm very sorry about the dog. My number one rule is don't force yourself to do anything when you are starting recovery. Like, let's say you crashed recently within the last 1 or 2 months. You basically need to give yourself, let's say, 2 months of complete lack of willpower expenditure. And I guess that's kind of why I'm making this video, is because I wish I had someone telling me kind of exact numbers of days or months to wait. So I will say, if you have just crashed, you need to give yourself at least 2 months until you even unless you actually feel like a burst of energy to where you're excited to do something. A big problem people with CFS have, including myself, is that we feel guilty. Oftentimes these are overachiever types, and you want to do more, you want to be more, and especially if you've had this for a little while and it's been kind of crippling you don't want to keep resting. But unfortunately, that's the only answer for now, until there's maybe a medication or something to help some sort of other advancement. So that's my number one rule. You have to just accumulate energy, and you have to do this for months. This includes eating whatever you want, do as little or as much of stuff as you want. So it's like if you're just like, man, I feel like crap, but at least I'm enjoying this game, and you want to play a game for 10 hours a day, if your lifestyle allows for it, do it. Especially if you can like move in with a family member, that would be really helpful in a time like this after a crash. That is what I'm doing at the moment. The next thing you can do, you can simply avoid beating yourself up. That kind of has to do with what I was just saying. I know that, yeah, I'm not going to belabor the point. Don't beat yourself up. It sucks. I am very guilty of this, and even if you hear me say this, you're probably going to do it too, but try not to. Have some grace with yourself. And this is also one of the most important things is you have to avoid working out. It's tough because as soon as you have some energy, working out can make you feel a whole lot better. Working out makes everyone feel better, but all it takes is one workout too many, and you can really set yourself back. I've done this too many times to the point where it's just not even worth it right now for me to even consider working out. I've set the bar for like, it used to be to a point where like, okay, I feel like I probably could work out today and it'll probably be good for me. And I've just scooted that bar further and further away to, I'm only working out today if I have an abundance of energy. And like, that's why I was saying it earlier. If you feel naturally motivated, you have a lot of energy and you can work out, that's one thing, but definitely do not do it out of like guilt or boredom or just kind of like a miracle, like a Hail Mary, hoping that you feel better because you work out, because yeah, that's risky. I'll move on to the next frequently asked question. This is not a frequently asked question, but this is something I want to bring up. I don't want to. This is not an attack. It's just a simple disagreement, and I think it's worth putting out into the CFS community atmosphere, whatever. I think that adjustment periods, which is a phrase termed by, I believe it was termed by, I think his name's Miguel from CFS Recovery. I think most of the information is good on his channel, but in my humble opinion, I just don't believe in adjustment periods. I think if you have to have like a multi-week or month adjustment period, you have simply crashed. I think it's really that simple. I have, in the times that I have improved, which I have improved and then regressed quite a few times, and every time I have gone on the path of improvement, it was very steady and slow and up. There was never an adjustment period unless I did too much. And you should not, in my opinion, you should not be okay with these so-called adjustment periods. You really should just be very conservative with your improvement. And if you do hit a mini crash or whatever, then that means next time you have to be more conservative when you bounce back. Yeah, and for what it's worth, I've had periods of improvement, and I've increased my work capacity and my workout capacity, I would say dozens of times, and then I would crash because I end up working out too hard, and again, I don't want to belabor the point. So this will be my last point because, again, I don't want to make this video too long. How long to recover from a major crash? So this will depend on your severity of the crash. So just to give some examples, if you have been running fine for, your whole life, and then you get a crash because you got sick and then you had too much stress, and then suddenly you have post-exertional malaise and you are bedbound, and and let's say you're also 25 years old, you'll probably be fine in a few months. Depending, that's assuming you don't force yourself to do stuff. If you did end up forcing yourself to do stuff, you're probably digging yourself a deeper and deeper hole, and that you can keep extending it. Like you could like recover a little bit, and then you keep pushing yourself too much, and then you crash again, and you can just keep digging a bigger hole. Like this can go infinite, and then you can even get to the point where you have severe CFS to where you're bedbound. So I really, really do not recommend pushing yourself if you're even considering having CFS. Okay, so the point of everything I just said was just that it varies. It varies on how intense it was, how well you were before the crash, how old you are, how healthy you are. But just understand that it could be years, about 2 years, I would say, if you're really bad. And it could be it could even be weeks if you're young and healthy. And then the last thing I'll say is that, like I said earlier in the video, I want to give some people some actual numbers and like guidelines as to like what they can expect, because that's something I always wanted. So what happened to me is 4.5 weeks ago, I was in a much better place, or state I should say, in my recovery, and I was working out 2 to 3 times a week. Things were going well. I was working out hard. I was recovering. And then one day, so I progressed from 1 workout to 2 workouts a week into 3 workouts a week, and that was all fine. I increased 1 workout per week. And then on that 3rd week, I decided to try a 4th workout, and that was 4.5 weeks ago, and I have been crashed ever since, which means I was really bad right away. So like 3 days after the workout, I was pretty much bedbound, no energy, no excitement in life. Everything sucked. No willpower, all that good stuff. So here I am 4.5 weeks later, and now I'm thinking, well, maybe I can get 1 decent workout in next week. So what does that say? That says 1 time overdoing it can lead to 5+ weeks of crashing. And this isn't even a full-blown crash. So you're really playing with fire when you're doing these workouts, if you choose to work out. But that also goes for anything where you're pushing yourself emotionally, physically, mentally. I would go on a limb and say physically is the worst kind of stress you should put on yourself. But maybe that's only true for me. Maybe some people are more physically resilient but emotionally less resilient than me. These are certainly possibilities. So I'm going to end the video there. I'm sure there's other questions I could like bring up, but yeah, if this gains any traction, if anyone has any questions that they want me to cover in a part 2, I'll be happy to cover them. I guess with a closing statement would be, I have full confidence that I'm going to get out of this, because I've had many times where I've gone from completely crashed to like semi-recovered, and I overdid it. And for a long time, I didn't even know that I had chronic fatigue syndrome. I thought I was just being lazy. And over the last, let's say 2 years, since I believe I've known about CFS for about 2 years, like I said, I've had some really good times, and then I've like changed up my schedule because I didn't think it was a big deal, and then I would crash again. So a lot of people have come out of it. I believe I will come out of it. I've had good results in the past. I just have to stay diligent and not overexert, and hopefully you can get out of it too. So I'll end up posting a video when as I go with this, but yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. So let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to know.